A thread by Brian Cates. They went after a football coach over a One America News t-shirt. Texas A&M quarterback now demanding College Station remove a statue. Aunt Jemima syrup being taken off market today. They're just warming up. August is when it gets really bad, when the NFL returns. And thus were the lives of all black people everywhere in America improved, for the evil Aunt Jemima was no more. 4.5 months of endless waves of virtue signaling gaslighting. We're in week 2 so far. Gird your loins, because we have about 18 more weeks to go before they step it up even more after Trump wins in November. We'll be getting it from all directions. Hold fast. He who endures to the end shall be saved. Right now, most of the focus is on the racial gaslighting. But don't forget, that's just one issue these losers have to gaslight about for the next 4.5 months. They also have to gaslight about Biden's dementia, the economy, jobs, Spygate, Ukraine, Trump's massive rally sizes versus Biden. Don't forget that one. Over 1 million people wanted to attend the next Trump rally. Trump is setting primary voting records running unopposed. But they gaslight you with polls saying it's Biden who has all of the enthusiasm. Big Brother is lying to you through his media shills, who are doing everything they can to convince you to not believe your lying eyes. Biden is riding the wave of a popular mass movement against America's systemic racism. Meanwhile, Trump is growing increasingly unpopular. Gaslighting is all they can do at this point. They can't stop anything. But people who are obsessed with social media and popular culture are already freaking out after just 2 weeks of this. I'm seeing conservative commentators, pundits, analysts, and bloggers all demanding to know when Trump is going to make them stop this gaslighting. Once again, nobody knows how anything works. Take the 3 things that happened over the past 3 days. 1. Picture of OSU coach in an OANN shirt causes backlash. How exactly does Trump make them stop that? 2. Corporation pulls a product off the shelves. Again, explain how Trump stops them from doing that. And 3. Texas A&M quarterback demands a statue be removed from the campus. How does Trump order Kellen Mound to be quiet, order Texas A&M to ignore him? I got really bad news for some people. Trump can't stop this. What the hell would he do? Nationalize an industry and make them keep Aunt Jemima on the shelves? How would that work? Order all these companies to stop sending emails to all their customers boasting how woke they are helping to fight racism? The only thing this strategy being pursued by this 1984-style cult that works is Trump can't order them to stop it. These are private companies and institutions. He cannot assume federal control of them. They can pretty much say whatever they want, and they're going to. I'm also seeing people pining for Trump to put on some massive military display of strength and send in active duty military to the Chaz or the CHOP or whatever the hell those lunatics are calling it today. You don't understand. Come in close. Don't miss this. These Marxist cultists are putting on extreme displays to push their narratives in the hopes of getting an extreme reaction from Trump. They expect him to escalate in response to them. They still haven't figured this guy out in 4 years. So all the people obsessed with social media and popular culture are growing frantic in week 2 of the 20-week program to immerse the entire country in a massive gaslighting atmosphere about systemic racism because they think this means Trump is losing and he needs to act. Social media isn't the real world. Popular culture is a construct. Most news outlets are owned by 6 corporations. People who spend all their time immersed in social media, pop culture, yes, it looks like the Marxists are winning. No matter how many times they're told this and how many times they may mentally assent to social media and pop culture not being the real world, emotionally many people can't accept that. They see themselves surrounded by the bad guys because they stay in the media bubble. Here's the truth. Trump is restarting his campaign. He doesn't need to send the military into Seattle. Quit listening to people who lost the plot. Red states and the federal government, and I'm going to get in trouble for this, but so what, are not coming to save the blue states. This is hard for people to hear, I know. In Seattle, yes, the feds are there, but they're staying out of sight for now. Trump is not going to seize control of states from governors or cities from mayors and declare martial law. It will not happen. People who keep insisting Trump must declare martial law and send in active duty military to liberate the CHOP are the same ones telling you Trump's been doomed for the past 3.5 years now because he never does what they scream at him to do. So write this down. There's gonna be a quiz. Trump can't order corporations to stop the stupid virtue signaling gaslighting they were now engaged in. And no, he's not going to declare martial law and seize control from duly elected governors and mayors in the blue states. I'm sorry, blue state voters. It's up to you. Ball's in your court. Trump can give a federal assist where he can legally do so, but you're mostly on your own. Elections have consequences. The only good news is the sheer lunacy of the Marxists, having been forced to go far too fast, has woken up many blue state voters to the fact that it is now literally dangerous to them and their families to vote Democrats into power in their blue states. Cuomo, de Blasio, Whitmer, Wolf, Inslee, Waltz, Durkin, Lightfoot, and more have clearly shown what they will do with power. All the sane people in the blue states now realize these Democrats are clear and present dangers to them and their families, businesses, churches. The only way things are going to begin changing in these blue states is if enough of the sane people in these states start going to the polls to vote this November. Trump cannot come in riding on a white charger to save you. Red states can't do it either. There is a threshold beyond which the Democrats cannot cheat in a close election, usually around 1 to 4%. By the time you get to 5%, you're talking about big numbers, 100,000 or so. As long as millions of people in these blue states aren't voting, they could pull this off. This is why the gaslighting like a mofo every single damn day for 4.5 months is going to massively backfire. They literally are not going to leave anybody alone for 18 more weeks. People in the blue states will be getting this worse than people in the red states. Remember, #walkaway is real. It's a real, genuine grassroots movement started by Brandon Straka. Millions of former Democrats have already bolted. What do you suppose will this 1984 Big Brother-style hectoring of the entire country accomplish by November? What's it done? It's woken up all the sane people in the blue states who are realizing that they're not participating in elections, allowed actual lunatics to get into office who managed to make a worldwide pandemic exponentially worse for them and their families. Trump is now talking about a silent majority, a majority that has been woken up by the sheer lunatic antics of their political leaders for the past 6 months. Fear porn and doom criers insist everyone in a blue state is a commie flag-waving Marxist. There's no hope for these states. You're told it literally doesn't matter how many people leave the Democrat Party or how many sane people who weren't voting are bringing the whole extended family on November 3rd. Trump's doomed. They'll simply cheat enough to steal it. Same people who never grant Trump any agency because it's part of their tantrum poser act because he never does what they tell him to, whine to the rest of us about how this election day is already over and Biden won it. Trump's just a blowhard, a bluffer, a simp, etc. A campaign like no other this country has ever seen is about to kick off. The doomcriers can kiss my ass. Trump's got this. The voter enthusiasm to pay the Democrats back for this and reward Trump for fighting them is going to be off the charts by November. They are going to have to come up with new metrics to measure what happens when angry voters send a never-to-be-forgotten message to this insane Democrat Party when the red wave hits. So, let the gore crows and the doom criers cry how Trump is doing it all wrong as usual and he's doomed. It doesn't matter. I'm not a slave to social media or pop culture. I live in the real world. So do millions of people whose voices will be heard on November 3rd.